The sad truth is that the majority of people who set goals won't even break ground, let alone get 50% of the way there. Hey, it's Taylor. If you have a strong desire to get in your best shape while achieving fulfillment and balance between the other areas of your life and your highest priorities and values, but you're struggling with consistency and motivation to actually go and complete the goal, then stay tuned for this video. I'm going to tell you the truth about goal getting and what I've learned through working with dozens of busy professionals on not only setting goals, but actually helping them achieve the goal. So look, if you're trying to learn how to lose weight and maintain a lean, muscular physique that you can be really proud of, but you have a negative association to achieving that goal, there's going to be some opposition up here. There's going to be some opposition in your brain, and your subconscious and unconscious mind is incredibly efficient at making up every excuse in the world to stay away from that negative association and the negative emotion that's tied to it. Let me explain it like this. Most people live their lives like this, right? An event happens, something happens that reminds them of the past, or just their external environment is kind of chaotic, something happens and they react, right? They feel an emotion that is associated with the thought that comes from the event, right? So it goes like this: event, reaction, event, reaction, event, reaction, and so on. This is how people live their lives. Now, in between an event and a reaction is a narrative or a story. And those narratives and stories are generally driven by our subconscious and unconscious thoughts. And before long, when we get caught up in this cycle, we start to develop an identity around that. So if you've ever caught yourself saying things like, I'm just way too busy right now to prioritize my health. I'm just somebody who struggles with my body fat. My family did. They're all overweight, so I am, right? I am the way I am. It is the way it is. These types of things, which always leads to, and there's nothing I can do about it. If we operate from that place of inevitability, it's always going to lead to us throwing in the towel. Okay, so we have to start there. We have to start looking at our programming and our narratives and our stories, right? Before we ever think about setting goals or going after change in our lives. Now, another thing is, a lot of people place a lot of emphasis on setting goals, especially this time of year. You got New Year's that just came around. Everyone's setting goals and has these big ideas. But who cares about setting goals even if you want to change, right? If you have a strong desire to change, if you don't address the stuff I'm talking about in this video, you don't stand a chance, right? You want to actually get the goal. You want to achieve the goal. You don't want to be just setting goals, have some pie-in-the-sky resolution, and then by the time February comes around, you've forgotten it. The sad truth is that the majority of people who set goals won't even break ground, let alone get 50% of the way there. Okay, so let me explain the two truths that I've found from doing this work and helping people reach their goals and delineating between the people who are successful and the people who aren't. The first reason why people fail at achieving their goals, and this is the most important reason, okay? So everything I'm going to share with you here doesn't matter if you don't get this one right. But the first reason is because of their internal association with the goal. I say this all the time. Challenge your associations. Challenge your relationships. Challenge your relationship to hard. Challenge your relationship to hunger. I just made those 2 videos recently. Anytime you're in a reactive state, ask yourself, what am I making this mean? What meaning am I giving to this event or this situation? We don't set goals just to go after them. We have this history, right? We have this history of not achieving them. That's why we fail. We have a negative association to what it's going to take or how it's going to challenge our identity of who we are and what we think we're capable of. So the brain starts to associate goal setting and going after change in your life with failure. And failure has a negative emotion or a feeling attached to it. So there lies the answer, right? Whenever that happens, that's what you need to move towards. If we don't identify the things that are really in the way, then it doesn't matter how well we set goals or how bad we want it. We need to understand why and what makes us fail and what made us fail in the past. And that requires shining a light on your internal habits, your beliefs, your internal systems, more so than just focusing on all the strategies and the doing. I've said this so many times. It's not a matter of what to do. You want to get in shape, you can go find some pretty good information on how to do so. The problem is that you're not doing it. And this is the reason why. So, look, here's the thing. If you're kind of like, yeah, I get it, Taylor, I've already been doing this. Look, it's not enough just to become self-aware of your failures and your shortcomings. And in fact, if you're doing that, and that's all you're doing, you're bound for upset and misery. Some of the most self-proclaimed, self-aware people are the most miserable. And it's because they practice self-awareness, but they do it through the lens of shame. And you can't take away anything from that insight if you're playing that shame game. I was called out on this by my coach. This is one of my biggest sins and was one of my biggest sins of the past until I had my coach call me out on this, right? I could spend hours in a meditation room, being present, listening to people, coaching people, but I was still looking at my past failures through that lens of shame, and I wasn't learning, and I wasn't growing, and I wasn't taking that insight and actually doing something with it. So you have to learn how to get so comfortable shining a light on your failures that it doesn't faze you anymore. And you do this by assessing the past, right? What went well today? Where could I have improved on? What went well this year? Where could I have improved on? But you do it through a neutral and curious lens. This is how you learn from your mistakes. This is how you adopt a growth mindset and start focusing on solutions and not problems or why am I this way and I am the way I am, it is the way it is. Okay. So the second reason people fail, once you get that right, you practice self-awareness and you can assess your failures and be comfortable doing it through the lens of neutrality and curiosity. Then you have to take a look at your goals and the relationship to your higher values. If the goal isn't aligned with your highest values, you don't stand a chance. Or if your perception of that relationship is skewed based on narratives and stories that you tell yourself, then you don't stand a chance no matter how well you set the goal or how bad you want it. You can set SMART goals, you can make vision boards, you can reverse engineer your goals, 5-year goal, 1-year goal, back to 90 days. You can practice visualizations, all of those things, right? None of that matters if you don't challenge your relationship to your goals and your values and how they're aligned and how you're serving both. None of that's going to work. For example, I've used this example before. I value my relationship to my wife above all else. The way I show up for that relationship is one of the most important things for me while I'm here on this planet. So if I have a goal of getting below 10% body fat and getting really lean and being my best physically, right? Being strong, hitting some PRs on my big lifts, whatever it is. If that goal feels like it's taken away from time or energy towards my relationship with my wife, I don't stand a chance. But if I can stop and ask myself, what am I making this mean? What is my narrative and my story around this? And actually, what does taking care of myself and prioritizing my health and doing something that I really want for myself, what does that do for me as a man and how I show up in the world and how I show up in my relationship? And actually, that's the best gift I can give my wife, is the best version of me. Well, then I have a really powerful recipe to motivate myself and stay consistent towards my goals, because I'm not going to betray that highest value, right? And what I've found from doing this is when I start to strip away all the bullshit narratives, the only thing you're left with is either I can't because I'm afraid, or I can't because I really just don't want to. So ask yourself, is what you're habituating each and every day serving towards your highest values and your highest goals? If not, cool. That just means you're either afraid or you're saying, no, I value these things more than my higher values. But if what you want is a really value-driven life and a fulfilling life, and you're habituating things that are fruitless, you're eating crap food, you're watching Netflix or playing video games every time you clock out for work, then you're simply saying, I value these things more than my higher values. Or, I don't really want that goal. Or, I'm too afraid to do what it takes to achieve that goal. If you want to be lean, you want to be muscular, you want to be in your best shape, you want to be healthy and live a long, healthy life, because you recognize it's aligned with your highest values, taking care of yourself and becoming the strongest version of you is the best way that you can show up for your family, for your work, for your relationship to your wife, and your relationship to yourself. And here's the thing, self-sacrifice is really important for a fulfilling life as well. But it comes from a much more abundant and authentic place when you show up for yourself first and you take care of yourself and prioritize you. So ask yourself this, is it really not knowing what to do? Is it really about just setting goals, or is it taking a deeper and honest look at who you are and who you want to become? Tell me in the comments below if this thought pattern has ever come into your head. This is so common, right? And this is perpetuated by our culture a lot, but these thoughts are very common in our culture, right? If I just barrel through, if I just grind through this, then I'll reach the goal. All of my habits, behaviors, beliefs will follow suit after I reach the goal. I'll become who I want to be after the goal is fulfilled. That's how most of us think, right? If I could just finally get lean and muscular, then I'll feel better about who I am. If I could finally hit 7 figures in my business, then I'll feel better about who I am. Here's the thing. If the process is a grind, if it feels like punishment, if you're just constantly barreling through, it won't last. And you'll be inefficient and you'll fall short and burn out every single time. It's not about what to do. It's not about the steps and the strategies. Those things are important, but that's not what it's all about. You have to change who you're being today. Then all the doing is going to be like second nature, and the results will follow. My New Year's resolutions, when I set goals at the beginning of every year, they're all about the man that I want to become and how I can improve on that from the last year. That's it. If I can do that, the results are going to follow, right? It starts with that. Then the planning and the process comes in. All right, so that's what I wanted to cover in this video. If this is resonating with you, I recently did a live training on Facebook where I did a deep dive into the exact process I developed for my paying clients on how not only to set goals the right way, but how to actually achieve them and the process for doing so. So if you think you could benefit, you want to check that out. The link's in the description below. I'm going to add in another free training from my client vault that's called the 3-phase process for accelerated body transformation. This is the exact process I've used to help dozens and maybe even hundreds of busy leaders at this point, lose up to 12 to 24 pounds in 12 weeks while also moving towards fulfillment in life. Right? Who cares if you want to get in shape if it's at the expense of building, not building your wealth at the same time, and not moving towards more time with the family and quality time with the wife, right? I want more from my clients. I want more from myself. We want to move towards multi-dimensional success and give attention to all of our highest values, right? Level up in body, mind, wealth, intimate relationships, self-integrity and belief, self-acceptance. So if that's you, get access to that training just by clicking the link in the description below. I hope what I'm saying in this video is serving you, and more than anything, I hope that if it does, that you do something with it. This video is speaking to you, then walk towards this stuff, man. Give it the attention it deserves. Guys, do me a favor. Please like, subscribe, and comment on the video. Help me grow the channel and reach more people that may need to hear this. It's time to challenge your perceptions of what you're capable of. It's time to own the fact that you can feel what it feels like to be a strong, lean, mentally fit, physically fit, an unshakable individual who lives a values-driven life and a fulfilling life. On your side, it's Taylor. See you in the next video.